Word has it that you like your fragrances spicy. Now, is that true? Do you like spicy fragrances? Well, I've got 20 of my favorite spicy fragrances here, and I'm going to tell you what they are. So if you're curious to find out what they are, please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. I'm going to jump right to the list because this is going to be a long video, so I'm going to do it as fast as possible. But I do like my fragrances spicy. I grew up with spices. I have a family that loves to cook with spices, and I love everything spicy. Some of my favorite spices are cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, nutmeg, pepper, black pepper, you know, you name it. Cumin. Cumin is an awesome spice and makes fragrances very, very aromatic. I love that about spices, and I love that about fragrances, and I love them spicy. And a lot of the fragrances tend to go either in an oriental direction or in an aromatic direction. Warm spicy or fresh spicy. I think the majority of this list is more warm spicy, but a few can go fresh spicy as well. So let's get right to it, and I'm going to start off right off the bat with the spiciest of them all. I'm going with the House of NISHANE, and this is Spice Bazaar, this one right here. So Spice Bazaar is considered a woody, aromatic, spicy fragrance, and it utilizes a dominant note of spices, cumin, black pepper, rosemary, and more notes. It's oh my god, it's like one of the best spicy fragrances. If you like it spicy, this is a must try. This is NISHANE Spice Bazaar, and it is the spice cabinet into an awesome release. It's very masculine to me, and it has a kind of like a classic edge to it. Not necessarily like full-on in-your-face classic, because what you get full-on in your face is all the spices, and cumin is big here, so you've got to be warned with that one. You've got to be careful. If you don't like cumin, you might use this with caution, but man, it is so good. I like the initial blast of the spices with the cumin, and then I like what it boils down to become like this slightly classic masculine fragrance. And it's not necessarily ultra masculine, but it has these masculine qualities. Awesome release. Do check this one out because I think you're gonna like it. I'll go right off to my next spicy fragrance, and this is Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, this one right here. But this is a very popular fragrance in the community, and it is lots of different spices along with like sweet notes of vanilla and of course tobacco. It's considered an oriental spicy fragrance. I mean, it's definitely true. It's an oriental style of fragrance because you got that vanilla in there, and usually when you add vanilla, it goes in that oriental direction. But truly delicious. Thanksgiving is around the corner. This is my Thanksgiving Day fragrance. I always wear this one on Thanksgiving. It gets me lots of compliments, plus you got all the spices you're cooking with it during Thanksgiving anyway. It just kind of blends well, and lots of compliments. So if you don't know this one, you're probably very new to the fragrance community. But this is a must try if you like spicy fragrances. So this is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. Next up, going to the House of JOVOY. This is Incident Diplomatique, this one right here. Now this one is a woody, spicy fragrance, utilizing a dominant note of vetiver and patchouli. Those are pretty big here, and they do come off very warm and spicy. Although there is a slight bit of aromatic, fresh spicy edge to it as well, but to me it's more warmer. The vetiver and the patchouli give it a very spicy edge to it, and then there's also nutmeg here as well that's kind of thrown in to give it another warm, spicy edge to it. Now, it is a spicy fragrance. It's not utilizing a lot of spicy notes. It's the only spicy note that I see credited here is that nutmeg, but the fragrance just comes off very woody, spicy to me. So it is an awesome release. This is one of the best fragrance trails, the best sillage in fragrances ever. Absolutely love it. So if you love that kind of fragrance, if you love compliments, try Incident Diplomatique by JOVOY. Awesome release. Next, we're going to the House of HERMES. This is EQUIPAGE Geranium, this one right here. This one's considered a woody, spicy fragrance again, and it's got credited spices. They're not really pointing out what the spices are. And you also have geranium, of course, because it's called EQUIPAGE Geranium, and then you have sandalwood. The original EQUIPAGE was a sandalwood fragrance. Here they've added that geranium and the spices. To me, it's very fresh spicy rather than warm spicy, but I think I can see it come off warm spicy as well as it's drying down. And it's Hermes. You've got the Hermes DNA, but it's got lots of spices. It's like ultra spicy. I do pick up a little bit of ginger in here as well, which is not credited, but I could see it being aromatic. So I think you've got like cardamom in here, perhaps coriander, but very big blast of spices. And Underrated. I think a lot of people don't talk about this one, and it's a really, really good one. Very masculine. It kind of goes in the direction of a Chanel Boy a little bit as well. The geranium kind of is similar to Chanel Boy. If you like that one, you might check this one out. So this is Equipage Geranium by Hermes. Next, we're going to the house of Frederic Malle, and it's not Noir Épice. This one is Portrait of a Lady. I do not currently own Noir Épice, and you probably thought I would include that fragrance on here. I haven't really warmed up to Noir Épice for some odd reason, but here we have an awesome spicy fragrance. This one is considered a spicy floral or a floral oriental fragrance, and you've got rose, patchouli, incense, cloves, and cinnamon. Absolutely beautiful. Another one of these, this is another one that has the best trail. It leaves such a great trail. The sillage is amazing. People, you know, try and find you to find out what you're wearing. It's that kind of a fragrance. But here, the rose is king, the patchouli is king, and I think equally the incense is king as well. And in the background, you're picking up lots of cloves and lots of cinnamon. So it makes for this like a potpourri of all those notes together come alive. Absolutely amazing fragrance. This is probably a top 5 favorite fragrances, either from designer or niche for me. Portrait of a Lady, amazing, amazing stuff. Really, really good and spicy. Next up, it's the house of IDEO Parfum, and this is TARBOUCH AFANDI. Now, a house that I haven't spoken much about here in this channel, but soon starting to slowly speak about them. This is a woody, spicy fragrance, and what you have here in this one is tobacco, cloves, benzoin, a bit of animalic notes, and patchouli, and just a gorgeous spicy tobacco fragrance, if that makes sense. It's very aromatic to me. Aromatic as in it doesn't go, well, it does go warm spicy, but it also goes very fresh spicy. So you kind of have this like unique combo of like both warm spicy notes and fresh spicy notes to make like a spice bomb, like just a spice bomb. But a really, really lovely fragrance. A house that I'm slowly exploring, and I'm really enjoying everything they have. So if you don't know TARBOUCH AFANDI, check it out from IDEO Parfums for a great spicy fragrance experience. As you've noticed, I've got both designers here and, you know, of course, niche fragrances. I kind of was trying to make it as designer friendly as possible. And this is also a designer, Cartier, and this is Declaration Parfum, and this is considered an oriental woody fragrance. And with this one, you've got cardamom, check spices, check cumin, check, and then you've got leather as well. Very, very, very sexy fragrance. This is the Parfum edition of their original Declaration from the late 90s, but very, very sexy, very classy, sophisticated. The cumin is big here, the cardamom is big here. Those two spicy notes are big, and of course it dries down to a leather, an absolutely gorgeous scent. This is a winner, definitely a winner of a fragrance. What they've created here is amazing here. But this is not created by Jean-Claude Elaine like the original EDT version was. This is created by Mathilde Laurent, the in-house perfumer at Cartier. Check it out, Declaration Parfum from Cartier. Next up, we're going to the house of Memo Paris. This is African leather. Man, this is so good. So, so good. It is a leather, but it's so much more than just the leather because you start off with blasts of spices. This one's considered a spicy, leathery fragrance, and you've got cardamom, you've got cumin again, you've got leather, saffron, and vetiver. And is it the best leather fragrance from the house of Memo Paris? I think so. I don't know. Do you agree, or do you have another favorite? This is just amazing. Again, it's not about the leather as much, and a lot of these leather fragrances start out with this other direction and then boil down or dry down to the leather. And here you're starting out with like all these spicy notes, and then it's drying down to that leather. Awesome. I love that about the leather fragrances from Memo Paris, and this is the spiciest of them all. This is African leather. Check it out. It's really, really awesome. So this next one is a classic from the house of Diptyque that nobody speaks about. This is L'Autre. I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me because I'm not French. But this is like going back to Spice Bazaar from NISHANE, kind of in that direction. It's everything in the spice cabinet thrown in for this very warm and fresh, spicy experience. Again, you got both aromatics, fresh spices and warm spices in here, and it's to die for. Now, if you don't like cumin, once again, be careful with this one because the cumin is pretty big and it kind of dominates. And sometimes cumin, as we've come to talk about, can come off a bit like BO. But here, it's so delicious. It's like you're smelling, like opening up a you know, the container of cumin and taking a whiff out of it and smelling so aromatic. But then in here you also have cardamom, you have nutmeg, coriander, black pepper, and patchouli. Man, it's so good. If you like it sexy, man, I could smell it, like the cumin just kind of like jumps out at me. That's how interesting this is. So this is L'Autre from Diptyque, absolutely amazing for the spice lovers. Next we're going to another Diptyque fragrance from their classic line of releases. This is their very first fragrance. I think the L'Autre was the second or third release. This one is the very first. This is called L'Eau. Now we're going to another side of spices. We're going to more of a holiday-ish vibe to me. It's very warm and spicy. And here we've got cloves, cinnamon, geranium, sandalwood, and rose. To me it smells like baking with spices, like, you know, Christmas cakes or fruit and nut kind of cakes with lots of spices in them. That's what it smells like. Delicious. If you like it like that, this is a must try. Now it does kind of also go in the direction of another fragrance that's on the list here, but not necessarily. I think the standout notes here, the cloves and the cinnamon, are standing out a lot, like big time, and you've got to love those notes, and if you don't, this is not going to work for you. I'll tell you what the other fragrance is that kind of sort of reminds me of this, but man, this is so good. This is Christmas spices in a bottle, like potpourri pretty much. Check it out. This is L'Eau from Diptyque. Awesome, awesome spicy fragrance. All right, next up we're going to a cheapie. At least in the discounters it's very inexpensive, and I need to buy another bottle of it because I keep using it up because it's so good. This is ARAMIS Calligraphy Saffron. Saffron, of course, is a spice. It does go into a slight bit of leathery direction, spicy leathery, and this is considered an oriental spicy fragrance. Here we've got saffron, we've got styrax, marigold, vetiver, lavender. Boy, it's so good. This one also has major ambery touches. It almost kind of acts like an amber fragrance. Oriental amber, perhaps? No vanilla, at least I didn't see it in the notes, but man, it's so good. It's so good. The saffron here is very, very sexy. It does have a very Middle Eastern Oriental kind of styling to it, hence the bottle, as you can see. But man, this is so good. This you can find for around $40. Snatch it up because it's really amazing for what you get. Awesome stuff. So this is ARAMIS Calligraphy Saffron. Really, really good fragrance. Next, we're going to the house of PIOTR CZARNECKI. I think I'm saying that correctly. I think Piotr is basically Peter in Polish. This is SHIHAN, or it used to be called Sensei before. Now it's called SHIHAN. It's in a separate bottle. Before it used to be like 3 different bottles connected. This is an oriental spicy fragrance. And it is tobacco, it's boozy, plus very, very spicy. You've got spicy notes that are dominant. You've got whiskey, you've got coffee, you've got tobacco and ambrette. Man, it's delicious. It smells like a boozy coffee, but not necessarily like Black Phantom because that goes in the milky direction, a caramelly direction. This doesn't go there. This is more coffee without the milk, without the sweet notes of caramel. And it goes more into a drier direction, a spicier direction. And if you like it spicy, this is the one to do. Just think of having like coffee with booze in it without adding like the milk layer and the sweet layer in it, but adding lots of spices. And maybe perhaps smoking a cigarette with it next to it. But absolutely one of the best tobacco fragrances to me. And it's a great, great boozy fragrance as well. So very, very spicy. The spices are king here. Check it out. It's PIOTR CZARNECKI SHIHAN. So next up we're going to Parfumerie Generale, or actually it's no longer called Parfumerie Generale, it's called Pierre Guillaume, the name of the perfumer. This is QUERELLE. I do have a review of this one. Now this one is considered an oriental spicy. So for notes here you've got cumin or caraway seeds, depending on which database you use. One says cumin, one says caraway. There's also vetiver, there's oak moss, and there's a cinnamon in here. But man, this is actually mostly a vetiver fragrance, but the spices, the cumin, gives it this like, it's like a sexy vetiver, if that makes sense. But the refinement is out of this world, and the cinnamon does pop through a little bit. Amazing. I don't understand why a lot of people do not talk about this line. I just don't get it, but if you're interested, if you're curious to discover this house, definitely start out with this one, as long as you like cumin, because the cumin does pop through. But if you like vetiver and you like a little on the edgier, sexier side, QUERELLE is one to try. Really, really great spicy vetiver Sexy, spicy vetiver. Awesome stuff. Next, we're going to the house of Amouage, and I had to include this one because this is ultra spicy and smoky. This is Interlude, man. So this is the blue bottle. Now, as soon as you smell it, it's very smoky, and it's also very green because this is considered an oriental woody spicy fragrance. But here we've got oregano as a dominant note, so the greenness comes from that oregano. It's also very aromatic, and because it's got this oregano and it's fresher, it goes into a fresh spicy and along with a warm spicy direction, because you also have incense here, of course, and you've got black pepper, you've got opopanax for that resiny touch. So good. You'd never think that oregano would work with those kind of notes I read, like the incense and the opopanax, but it works really wonderfully. It really, really does. It might kind of like catch you off guard when you first smell it, because that oregano you associate with Italian food and pizza and things like that. It's in here. It's great. It's good stuff. And if you don't know it, check it out. Interlude, man, from Amouage. Great, great spicy fragrance. Next, we're going to the house of Bellissima. This is called Royal Saffron. Once again, we have another saffron fragrance here. This is considered an oriental spicy fragrance, and here we've got saffron, oud, cloves, carnation, rose, and leather. Oh man, it's so good. It's so spicy and good. Now again, the saffron, it is spicy, but it's also leathery at the same time, and you can really smell it in here, and it does smell spicy, but it doesn't go like something like cumin or coriander or cardamom. It's its unique beast, if that makes sense. And although I shouldn't say it's a beast, because it's very, very elegant. I love saffron. It's just beautiful, and it's also very pricey, especially when it comes to, I guess, including perfumes, but it's very expensive when you get it from where you're supposed to get it for foods and things like that. But awesome release. This is a very, very underrated house. I just hope you guys have sampled it. It's from the UK and not very widely distributed, but I love this house. In December, I'll be going to the UK and I'm going to explore the house even further. So this is Bellissima Royal Saffron. You can't have a spicy fragrances list without including this one. This one's out of this world amazing. Now this one also would go on a tea list, but here, this is L'Artisan Parfumé Tea for Two. This is an aromatic spicy fragrance. You've got tea, tobacco, cinnamon, spices, ginger, and anise. Now, ginger actually gives it more of a fresh aromatic spiciness, because I think ginger tends to go really spicy and aromatic. But the other notes like cinnamon and the spices, I'm assuming, would also be like cardamom and cloves perhaps, and maybe even coriander. Those go all warm to me. It's kind of like a juxtaposition of the warm and fresh together. And the tea is delicious. Now, one of my favorite teas, when I go to my mom's, we have tea, black tea with lots of spices. You'll throw in cinnamon, you'll throw in cloves, you'll throw in allspice, and even like ginger sometimes. And it makes for this like beautiful, like aromatic and fresh and warm spicy experience. That's what I love about this, because it reminds me of that tea. It's almost like just smelling the tea that you're about to drink in real life. That's how good it is. Tea for Two. Awesome, awesome release. Perfect for fall and perfect for winter if you like it spicy. Next up, we're going to the house of Parfums de Nicolai. This is New York Intense, this one right here. Now, I featured this in my top 5 Parfums de Nicolai video, but this is considered a spicy citrus aromatic fragrance. So here we do have warm spicy touches, but I think it goes in a more aromatic and fresh spicy direction, at least to me. But I think the notes are more warm spicy. So in here you've got lots of citrus notes, but you also have oak moss, black pepper, cloves, and cinnamon with very, very classic touches. I mean, the fragrance kind of reminds me a little bit of Bois de Portugal from Creed, but it's its own unique beast. I think I personally prefer this a little more than Creed's Bois de Portugal, because everything seems more intense, and the spices like the cinnamon are just more in your face, and that's what I like about it. And then with the Creed, the Bois de Portugal seems to be more tamer. If you like it beastly, do check it out. This is New York Intense, not New York. It's an awesome, awesome spicy aromatic fragrance from Parfums de Nicolai. Next, we're going to the house of Tower Perfumes, and this is L'air du Désert Marocain, this one right here. Everybody knows this one as an amber fragrance, but it's considered an oriental spicy because it's got spicy notes in it. It's very dry and spicy to me, and it captures the air of the Moroccan desert perfectly, I think, because you're in the desert to begin with, and you've got the spice markets, and then the wind's blowing through those spice markets, and of course the desert, and great inspiration for a fragrance, I think. This is probably fragrance community dear perfume. Everybody seems to love it. I mean, I'm sure not everybody, but most people tend to love this kind of fragrance, and it smells awesome. As soon as you smell it, though, you also, once you get to know the Tower, the Tower Perfumes DNA, you can spot it, but the spices are pretty prominent. Awesome release. Very, very nice oriental spicy fragrance from Tower Perfumes. Do check it out. All right, so I couldn't not include this fragrance on the list because after all, it is called Spice Bomb. Now this is probably the most popular designer spicy fragrance out there, especially the name and of course the bottle. I do like this one. I finally just recently picked up a bottle from the outlet that is near the outlet store that's near my mom that represents this L'Oreal owned company's brand. So maybe hopefully I'll do a review of this, but I had a review on the old channel. But this one is, what I like about it is the tobacco, the pink pepper with the cinnamon. It's warm and spicy. It's perfect. It's actually really a great designer release. I think the original is the one to go with personally. The Intense might be, I don't think it's as good as the original. And if you like it warm and spicy and you want to keep it in the designers and find some deals on it, Spice Bomb's the way to go. This is good. So that is another one for you to try. We're ending the list with the fragrance I mentioned I was going to tell you about later, is Costume National Homme. So this one is a warm, spicy fragrance, and it utilizes cloves, cinnamon, cardamom, and sandalwood. Now this is the one that kind of reminds me of Diptyque's Low because of the cloves and cinnamon, but it just basically stops there. This one goes to me in more of like a fruity tea direction versus that one is more the spices. But it's good. It's a really good fragrance. It's a designer, more of a lower profile designer, but if you're, and also it's called Homme. Costume National Homme, I think it's more unisex to me than Homme. Costume National Soul, I think is unisex, but it's actually more masculine to me. So it's very interesting. I think there's no real gender behind fragrances anyway. But if ladies, you like the sound of this and you like fruity notes and you like cinnamon and cloves and tea, check it out. I think you're gonna like it. And this is definitely deserving to be on this list because it's a great designer spicy fragrance. So that's Costume National Homme. And that is the end of the list, guys. That's 20 spicy fragrances, 20 of my favorite spicy fragrances. What are your thoughts? Did I miss anything? I mean, I know there's more out there, but these are the ones that I chose today because these are the ones that I draw the most or pull from the most. But there's more fragrances out there perhaps I don't have. So if there's anything that you want me to try or test, please do let me know in the info box. And also let me know, do you have these fragrances? Do you like them? Or you've tried them and you've hated them, or you wish to buy them in the future? Do let me know because I'd like to find out what you all think about these fragrances. Sometimes people just despise some fragrances as well. So if you despise any of these, do let me know that as well. Other than that, please make sure you've subscribed to my channel. There's a link in the info box. Please click that and also click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos, as we have people missing out on claiming their prizes. Other than that, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.